Priya's devastation. The heavy oak doors of the bungalow didn't just open, they shattered the silence as they were flung wide. Aunt Priya stood framed in the light, her shock of white hair a stark contrast to the blood-red silk of her designer saree. The diamonds at her throat caught the afternoon sun, casting cold, sharp glints across the room. She didn't wait for an invitation, stepping into the house with the predatory grace of a queen returning to a fallen city. Sija sat frozen on the divan, her cream-colored sari draped loosely over her trembling frame. Priya's eyes locked onto her immediately, a slow, poisonous smile spreading across her face. "Oh, Sija, my dear," Priya cooed, her voice dripping with mock sympathy that felt like a razor's edge. "Did you think the village walls were thick enough to hide such a growing secret? You always were the star, but it seems your light is fading under the weight of your own shame." Girisha stepped forward, her purple sari a splash of dignity in the middle of the chaos. Her green blouse strained as she took a deep breath, preparing to defend the girl she had treated like a daughter. "Priya, enough. This is a family matter, and you have no right." But before the words could fully form, Priya snapped her hand up, the gesture so sharp and commanding it seemed to physically bruise the air. Priya turned her venomous gaze toward Mina, who stood by the window, her face a mask of crumbling hope. "And you, Mina," Priya hissed, her voice dropping to a low, lethal vibration. "You allowed this filth under your roof. By tomorrow, your name will be a curse in every mouth, from here to the coast. I will ensure that the social ruin of this family is so complete that even the crows won't land on your gate." With a final, dramatic sweep of her red sari, Priya turned on her heel. She didn't look back as she marched toward the door, the click of her heels sounding like the ticking of a countdown. The air in the room felt thinner, the oxygen stolen by her departure. She left behind a silence that was far louder than her shouting had been, a silence filled with the wreckage of a reputation. As soon as the front door slammed shut, the paralysis broke. Mina rushed to Sija's side, the two women collapsing into each other's arms. The reality of Priya's threats began to sink in. The village was small, and Priya's influence was vast. They were trapped in a storm that had only just begun to howl. Sija sobbed quietly, her forehead resting against her mother's shoulder. "Girija, you must go," Mina whispered, her voice cracking as she looked at her friend. "If they find you here, they will accuse you of helping us hide the truth. They'll ruin you too." Mina grabbed Girija's arm, pulling her toward the narrow hallway that led to the kitchen. The sounds of a gathering crowd were already beginning to drift in from the dusty road out front. At the rear of the house, Sija pushed open the heavy wooden back door just a crack. The shadows of the alleyway beckoned. "Go, Auntie," Sija urged, her voice a frantic breath. "Run through the orchards. Don't let them see you." Girisha paused for a second, squeezing Sija's hand with a strength born of desperation, before slipping out into the humid evening air and disappearing into the gloom. Outside on the village road, the atmosphere had turned electric and ugly. Vikram, the local politician who had once been a mere renter in the district, stood atop a stone mounting block. He adjusted his glasses, his eyes gleaming with the opportunity to seize moral high ground. He pointed a trembling, accusatory finger at the house, his voice booming over the growing murmurs of the villagers. "We cannot allow this deception to stand," Vikram cried, his words inciting a roar of agreement from the crowd. A burly villager stepped forward, clutching a heavy staff. "If the girl is pure, let her prove it," Vikram shouted, his face twisting into a mask of opportunistic cruelty. "We demand a medical exam. We demand the truth before the sun sets on this village." The mob began to move toward the gates, their shadows long and menacing on the dirt road.